Yeah, so what I got here is the Microtech Socom Elite side folding auto, or side opening auto, or push button, or however you want to term it. It is the drop point with that stonewash finish. So you can pick that up. I got, today is Wednesday, I got this last Thursday it arrived. I'd been previously looking, I really was liking that tan color for like their liner lock, and I didn't really want to wait around. I didn't really know it was going to come out or be available. I've been looking at that all summer, so I discovered myself that they had an auto version. I thought, well, that's what I want. I wanted that more anyway. So I thought, gee, yeah, there we go. So I ended up getting it, and first I was looking at the satin finish, but the excuse me, the stonewash was available, or as well. And I thought, well, yeah, we'll go for the stonewash. And that's what I ordered. That's what I got. And I must say, I'm highly impressed all the way around with it. I like everything about this knife. The only thing that I could say that personally I would, if I had an option, I would have opted not to get the glass breaker. However, it is not bad. It's just a bearing pressed into this sleeve. I'm not really sure what you call it, but it's just a pressed, it looks like a press fit bearing instead of like a carbide sharp tip, which I've had. Like, say an example is a Benchmade Contigo. That was one thing about that Contigo I didn't like, actually. Yeah, so it was like a porcupine, having a porcupine hanging around. But anyway, so this one is not that obtrusive. I don't find it a problem whatsoever, and especially because it's carried tip down, which is actually my preference. I like the clip because actually they have this little guy here. It's actually like a kind of a double retention clip you can put in your pocket. This will catch on your seam if you want, so it'll sit high in your pocket, and if you keep pushing down, it'll bottom out here, and then it'll be very deep carry. And I like it. It's smooth. It's just a really nice clip. Works really well. And then I like the hardware on this. I'd looked at Microtechs before, and usually they're out of my price range. Generally they are. I could justify getting this one simply because what I saw and what you get. I couldn't really see myself not getting it, being the blade steel is M390. Which we'll get to that down the line when I have to sharpen it. I'll have to figure out my system, because most of the blades that I have are 154, BG10, S30V, and XHP, so I can do all those easily on my sharp maker. So I'm gonna have to figure something else out for this when it comes to having to sharpen it. But hey, it's cool. Probably hold an edge for a long time. This is not a knife that I'll be using for any kind of bushcraft necessarily, or at least extended use. It'll be my daily carry, but I don't cut. It'll cut rope, it'll cut paracord, stuff like that. But I'm not gonna use it for you know, cardboard and such. So hopefully it'll be a long time until I have to actually sharpen this thing. So actually, by my experience with this other knife, this is a Benchmade 9050 AFO2. 154 is it actually for what I use it for, and I use these a lot. I carry these every day, but honestly, it maintains a sharp working edge for a long time. And this is a jump up by, who knows, tenfold. I don't know, probably not that much, but it's probably holds an edge 2, 3, I can't even say, longer anyway. So I should be fine with this for a long time. So I like everything about this. It's kind of got a stiff button on it, but it was stiffer out of the box. I mean, that was another thing I liked about it when I got it. I really felt like I was the first one to ever touch this knife. Everything was new feeling. The button was pretty stiff, but since this last week of just using it, it has broken in a little bit. It's still pretty stiff. It's much stiffer than this. This is like a hair trigger on this, but which I like as well. And the difference between this and the original, it's quite a bit too. It's a pretty easygoing button. So getting back to this though, I just felt like it was, you know, I mean, this is built to last. Is how I kind of, it feels like to me. It's very solid. It feels like it's got very large pivot and strong spring, and just well put together, well thought out. I like the shape. Might not be the best handle shape for long extended cutting, but it's not bad. I don't think that's what this is designed for. It's designed to take it out of your pocket, make a cut, and put it away, or self-defense. And that's, I will not be using it for self-defense, I am sure, but it's definitely capable of that job. I really like it. I'm really happy with it. It's actually kind of my favorite knife. Now, these have always been my favorite, and they will continue to be right up there. In fact, it probably still is my favorite. I can't argue. Probably a little bit premature, being that I've only had this for a week, but yeah, I'll always carry these for work. I'm not sure yet on whether or not this will go to work with me next fire season or later this fall, because I do have another fire job coming up. We'll see how that goes. Where I'm switching jobs. I'm moving actually to another location, at least for the late season. Yeah, blade shape, nice thick tip. Almost looks like a Tano from this angle. Got the swedge cut out there, and you know, this is like a 1900s, I think they say, blade stock. It's got some similarities to the striker shape, I think, just the way there's those flares, the swedge and the flares out. So I don't know really who came up with the design first. I know that the striker, this axis hasn't been around too long and is now discontinued, which is really unfortunate because it's one of my favorite knives as well. Except for the handle. I don't like the handle. I like the original handle shape better, but it's been around a long time. So and so is this model, but I don't know which came first, who came up with that grind first. And one more comparison I can make is just on how thick this blade is. This is the SR1, which is the thickest blade I've ever owned previously, but it actually, if you put these up, I'm using them in one hand, so I'm not going to do it, but I have eyeballed these, and they're very close. If anything, this might be like a 1/100th of an inch thicker, or a thou or so. It's advertised as like 19. I think this is advertised as 18. You put them together, I couldn't really tell, but if anything, that might be actually honestly thicker. This is a great knife too. I have to do a review on this, but very smooth. But it doesn't seem to have a whole lot on this, and this is just really solid lockup. One thing I also like about it is kind of lockup. They kind of got that the shape on the back of the blade tang, which locks right in that oversized stop pin. I don't know if you can see that with the light, but I don't know. I'm just really impressed with this thing, and I think with the price that you do pay, $275, it was no more than their liner lock, and I definitely prefer a push button auto over a liner lock any day of the week. Just for me, I'm not talking performance wise at all. I'm sure that the liner lock is very strong and very reliable, but you know, I definitely prefer autos just for the cool factor. I'm not a real you know, some people like just to play with their knife, and I do too. Like on some of my Axis knives, I, you know, flick them out, flick them back in, but I prefer just kind of put it in my pocket and forget about it. And it's always there when I need it, always reliable. So yeah, this fits the bill. Very happy. I hope they continue to make knives just like this down the line, just in case something happens to this. So for right now, I'd replace it. I'll probably do another review down the road, kind of a follow-up of use. I'm not really sure what else I can say. I just assume that this thing is going to do exactly what it seems to do. Seems to be capable of doing. Another thing about it is these little kind of grip tape inlays. It's not like sandpaper. It's more of a boat deck surface, kind of like rubbery, forgiving, but you do get good traction on it. I appreciate it. I think if I was going to have one custom built for myself, I probably would not do that. But then now that I do have it, I definitely see the purpose, and it looks like it's pretty durable. It's going to last for my uses. So anyway, this is kind of like an initial size up of the of this knife. There's nothing about it I don't like, honestly, because even the handle shape, I've put this in my shirt pocket, and it's a little heavy for that, but just the way it goes in, it tapers like that, it just kind of seems like it's, I don't know, pocket ergonomical. I don't really know what term to use, but definitely pocket friendly. It doesn't take up much space in the pocket. It's a lot lighter than what I'm used to carrying. Like if I was, you know, I usually carry one of these, like I was saying. This is actually, seems a little heavier, and the balance point on these, you know, is about like right there, honestly, kind of behind, just a tad behind that finger. So the handle definitely weighs more, because I know this, it's a shorter blade and a thinner stock. And this one, actually, when you have it out, I guess I could do it real quick, just right in front of the pivot. So it's blade bias. Handle's very lightweight. So I don't know really what else to say, except for I just like everything about this. I mean, kind of how you'd even grip it for doing like long cuts. I have used it. I've cut some zip ties. I've cut some paracord with it, and kind of some food stuff. Not really, you know, cutting in a couple of food packages. I think I had it on me. I guess I've used it pretty much for everything since I've had it. I just can't really remember what I've cut, but I mean, I don't really need to tell anybody, really. That blade grind, thin behind the edge, it looks like, slices really well. Extremely sharp and smooth right out of the box. I have not even, well, I'm not even going to begin to sharpen this until I get something to sharpen it with, like maybe a diamond rod and maybe something else, some kind of strapping deal, because I just use a leather belt now to strap it. It's been fine for using these other steels I've had, which I've been always happy with, but, you know, I wasn't really after the M390 necessarily with this knife. 154 would have been fine. CPM 154 would be awesome, or XHP would be awesome, but hey, you're going to bump it up to the M390 for that price. Theoretically only 50 bucks more than getting a knife with 154 CM. I mean, like I said, for me it's probably overkill, but hey, more bang for the buck. So I think all around it's a win-win. Yeah, I really like it. So anybody who sees this video and likes the knife or wants to comment or has any questions about it, go ahead. I'll see if I can answer any of the questions. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Sorry about the ravens. Have to do something about that.